Hello, fellow human. Hope you guys have a great day, and let's read some more I don't work here lady stories. To the first one. My first experience with this kind of Karen. First, a description of what I look like. I'm short, thin, and look like I'm in my teens. I'm not, by the way. I'm 24. Wearing a big gray coat with a green shirt underneath and blue jeans. Also using my red wireless headphones and wearing a mask with skulls printed on it. I'm at my local grocery store, where the uniform is dark red with orange highlights, so I look nothing like them. Looking at one of the shelves, seeing what snacks and drinks they have, when out of nowhere, my headphones are ripped off my head and a Karen is there and I get ready for a fight. Karen: "Excuse me, I've been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes. She could have, but like I said, headphones. Me: "Is your problem, miss?" Karen: "I've been looking for kitchenware everywhere and I cannot find it and..." Me: "Wait, you think I work here?" Karen: "Yes, you teens always have jobs in these sorts of places." I sign heavily again. My shortness is a burden. Me: "I mean, you're not wrong about teens working here, but not only do I not work here, I'm not a teen. Now, give my headphones back." I reach for my headphones. Karen: "No, you're going to take me to get what I want, then you'll get your headphones." Me: "Lady, look, I don't work here, I work at home. You can't just take something that doesn't belong to you. If you want help, I suggest looking for someone wearing the uniform, though I doubt they'd help you because of how rude you are." Karen: "How dare you speak?" Me: "How dare you think it's okay to invade my personal space? How dare you think it's okay to take my property? And how dare you assume people will do as you say? That might work for kids, but not a 24 years old man who just came out for the first time in a week after dealing with a family pet dying. That last one wasn't necessary, but I was so pissed that my trip out was ruined, that it slipped out. Rest in peace to my cat 11 years of fun." I snatched my headphone bags, leaving her speechless. Me: "Go look for someone wearing red and orange. That's what the staff here wear." And with that, I grabbed my things and left. As a staff member turned the corner, I told her to turn and run back the way she came. There's a Karen back there. So this ends my story. I started laughing on my way home about how ridiculous the whole thing was. Well, I'm so sorry for your cat. I really hope you're okay now. The second story, Joanne's Ladder. I was in a craft store in the middle of the day, squatting and looking at a few things on the bottom rung, when a woman approached me and mentioned to where next to me there was one of those big rolling ladders that a lot of stores have for restocking high shelves. She asked, "Can I move this?" I shrugged and said, "I won't tell if you don't." She paused, gave me a strange look, then moved the ladder, took something off the shelf, and walked off. A few minutes later, I was in another aisle, now with a few items in my hand, and she turned a corner and recognized me. She looked at me a moment and then started to laugh before apologizing about earlier and saying that she'd thought I was an employee. We both laughed and she wished me a nice day and was on her way. Well, so sweet of her to apologize and was so pleasant, unlike many Karens out there. The third story. I live here, I don't work here. I live in US condo/apartment complex. In the freezing cold weather, I was collecting my trash bin after it was picked up. This is US, so we have giant trash can for each house and put out on the street once a week to get it collected. I was not dressed appropriately since I was not planning to stay out for too long. Just regular pajama in -12 degree. Suddenly, a car pulled up next to me and a man pulled the window down to ask me some questions. I was expecting some common question like, "Do you know where this address is?" But instead, I was asked with some strange question. "Do you know which unit is open?" Sorry, I don't know," I replied, baffled as if I knew such an answer for a bizarre question. Well, do you live here?" A man insists that a pajama man could help him. Yes, I do live here," I answered as I started to feel my hands numb. If so, you must know which house is open or not, right?" Besides the fact that I was astonished how he got such a conclusion in his mind, I'm still out in -12 degree with pajama, holding trash can with bare hands. I am cold. Yes, I do live here, but I don't work here. I don't stalk everyone in the complex, so I don't know which one is vacant. I can see his face started to look frustrated. However, I was hoping that he could realize that I was even more frustrated. He then asked the final question, or rather a final word that I accepted to put in my ear. Alright then, do you know where I can find a place to live? I was done. No, Google it. I think I heard some words coming out of his mouth, but I just pretended that my ear froze shut and no longer could hear anything. I got inside and turned on the heater and sipped some warm coffee, thinking about how strange that conversation was. On to the fourth story. I work here, but I'm not your assistant. During my summer break, I often work for a local country club / golf course. I am a groundskeeper, and I took the job with one provision: no member interaction. I'm what you would call a surly old bastard. So one morning, I was finishing my shift part-time, and I noticed an older woman stumble and she looked injured. I asked if I could help, or did she need medical attention. She assured me that she was fine and her daughter would be right there soon. Her daughter returned very distraught, but the mom said she had just slipped and that would be fine. As the daughter helped walk her back into the clubhouse, I bought her clubs up and left them outside. Heck, they were on a cart. Now, that was how the end of my day began. As I walked back to a maintenance shed to retrieve my water bottle, I heard someone come up behind me. Excuse me, my friend and I would like some iced tea while we let this other group play through. Okay, go ahead. Then she tried to push a $20 bill into my hand. Can you hurry? We don't want to wait all day. If you're waiting on me, you'll be waiting all day. That's not what I do on the course, and I'm leaving. You work here. I'm a member, so you do what I need. I said something to the effect, lady, what you need is a therapy if you think I'm bringing you your tea. I walked off while she was still talking. The next day, the manager stopped me and told me there had been a complaint. I don't care, fire me if you want, and find someone else to clean the goose crap off the patio each day. The waterfall comes onto a large patio area overnight and leave calling cards everywhere. I had an agreement, no customer service, so I walked away and went home. He called me the next day, asking if I would please return to work. He said later that he'd talked to the member and informed her that ground staff do not interact with members. That last part about not interacting with members / customers isn't completely true. I have enjoyed many rounds of golf with members. There's an older gentleman that asked if I had time for a round about every other week. Let's just say that my golf prowess make him look like a PGA champ. Honestly, this is brilliant. I wish I had a provision where I didn't have to deal with customer service. The fifth story. Guy at Home Depot kindly mistook me for an employee. This actually happened a day or two before this past Christmas. My brother and I, 24 years old male, had just bought some sort of table saw for my dad and loaded it into his truck. Naturally, I started to push the large, flat cart we used back towards one of the little parking lot storage areas to drop it off. Do these things have a name? Now, I'm wearing sweatpants and a hoodie with the hood up because it's raining, and honestly, I was feeling a little gangster pulling that cart one-armed behind me. As I pass a truck, I can see someone getting out from my periphery and walking straight towards me. I just thought, oh, this person probably just wants to use the cart since I'm done with it. I stop to face him and he begins, "Hey, could you tell me where?" He stops himself and asks, "Wait, you work here, right?" "No," I reply. "I was just on my way to put this cart back over there." While I point towards the cart collection thingamajigger. So he says, "Well, here, let me take that for you." And without even giving me a chance to respond, he takes the cart, drops it off, and then heads on into the store. It all happened so fast and it honestly just really brightened my day up. I couldn't have imagined a smoother recovery. Chivalry isn't dead yet, folks. It isn't dead yet. Well, I sure love happy stories like this. On to the sixth story. Not sure if it's a coincidence or whether my eyes have just been opened. So yesterday, I went and binge read through easily over 50 I Don't Work Your Lady posts. Then, today, while I'm at a small electronics store in a mall, I had my very first encounter. The moment by itself wasn't anything special. Another customer walked in, mistook me for an employee, and asked me what kind of electric kettles we sell. The mix-up was completely understandable, seeing I was literally the only person in the store at the time, and easily resolved with me informing that I was a customer myself, and that the sales staff had just run out around the corners to the store's kiosk by the mall's main elevator. But the scenario in itself left me contemplating whether this was actually the first time this has ever happened to me, or whether I've just become more aware of it notion after having spent hours reading more memorable stories. Maybe it's just me, or maybe some of you have had similar awakenings. Food for thought. Well, it happened to me so often that I thought it funny there was a sub about it. On to the seventh story. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only pizza. I'll state it up front that this story doesn't have a Karen. It happened back in 2006. It didn't happen to me per se, but to one of the people in our group, and I was a witness. A little background because it's needed. In my country, we don't have a Halloween. Our equivalent is the month before the start of Lent called Groceries that has a lot of people partying and running around in costumes, culminating in the Sunday before Lent, where everyone parties in costumes and most cities have a masked troop parade. We call it the carnival. So, I was born and raised in a city with the biggest carnival in the country and a full month of traditions associated with it. Being a city with a university and young people being young people, during that period, the population of the city used to double. It helps that it usually is just after midterms. Now, to the story. One of our friends has a young brother that due to health reasons had spent almost 3 years in and out of the hospitals. He was 15 at the time, and it would be the first time in 3 years that he would be able to attend celebrations. The carnival was his favorite holiday. During his 10 years as a patient, he spent his time reading books. He became hooked to fantasy and science fiction. Somebody had left some Warhammer 40k novels, and the kid was hooked. He had a special fondness for a certain hero of Imperium. His older brothers, our friend, wanted to make him feel good during the festivities and proposed to the rest of us if we could help him find costumes related to his favorite books. We all happily agreed and started searching. While some games, Magic the Gathering and D&D, had gained some traction and had a fan base in my country, Warhammer 40k was a bit difficult to find. Google came to the rescue, providing us info and some images. Finding what a commissar was and what was his fiction, we all decided we will tour with him as Imperial Guardsmen and Woman, mixed group, mixed regiment. On to assembling costumes we went. The day came and our company mustered out. We had our young commissar in black coat and red sash, a pimped out airsoft pistol as a lapistol on one side, a carved foam chain sword on the other. 9 guardsmen decked in black fatigues, flak armor vests, and BB rifles. His brother had also an adopted big water gun to look like a Melta. And because one of our friends was 6'7" and like 300 pounds of muscle, we managed to dress him in an approximation of ultramarine, with a pimped out Nerf pistol as a bolter and another foam chain sword. We did our rounds and had fun, but at some point our young commissar got tired and we retired to a pizza shop for the rest. The place we picked was packed, being popular student spot. Also, you ordered at the counter, sat down, and they gave a buzzer that notified you when the order was ready. We picked one of the to-go order, that being our ultramarine. He goes to place order with his girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, removes her gear to visit the toilet. The incident happened on her way back to our table. Cass, GS equal to Sarah, TM equal to tired mother, UM equal to ultramarine, CM equals to child musketeer, CC equal to commissar. TM, excuse me, can you take our order? GS, I'm sorry, but I don't work here. TM, but you're wearing their uniform. Confused. In any other day, dressed in a black shirt and black pants, Sarah could be confused with an employee. It was the uniform. But everybody that day was in some kind of costume. The woman was accompanied by her 2 children, a girl around 6 in a Disney princess dress and a boy around 10 dressed as a musketeer. GS, oh no, you have to place the order at the counter, and starts to explain the system. The mother is a bit dejected, understandable, with 2 young kids in a chaotic city. At that point, comes back, finding his girlfriend talking to an unknown woman, asks kindly what is happening. Now, while the conversation was in a good tone, it was a bit loud due to the ambient noise. The boy, seeing a giant looming over his mother, she was about like 5'5" or 5'6", and speaking loudly, decided to act. He inserted himself between his mother and pulled out his rapier, pointing at and said, CM, I don't know who you are, Sir Knight, but I won't allow you to shout at my mother. What? TM, honey? CM, no, I will protect you. We're trying to hold our laughter, watching the whole surreal exchange. A young woman dressed in black, a middle-aged woman dressed as a ladybug, a towering space marine, and a small musketeer. Our commissar decided to take charge. CC, soldier, he said, grabbing everyone's attention. I swear to my honor that no civilian untouched by chaos will be hurt under my command. CM, facing the commissar now. On your honor? CC, yes. He nodded to who nodded back, going along. CM, okay, can we have pizza now, Mom? That brought everyone to laughter. After that exchange, kindly took their order and we invited him to our table. We provided a good distractions for the kids. CM was captivated by the concept of a knight having both a big gun and a sword. The princess was talking to the girls about the guns, and TM had some rest chatting with the rest of us. Well, that was unexpectedly wholesome. Great story. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.